And welcome, softball fans, to the 2023 softball season. We are at the Wildcat Invitational on the campus of Abilene Christian University for today's matchup, A&M Corpus Christi at Abilene Christian. Along with Cohen Carpenter, my name is Hutton Harris. Cohen, what are you looking forward to in this game?
Yeah, so you look at these two teams, and ACU, they've got a lot of returners. They have more returners than Corpus Christi does for sure, but the transfers and freshmen that they went out and got, it's a lot younger team, ACU, compared to Corpus Christi. Corpus Christi, it looks like they went out, they got a bunch of transfers. They got a lot of JUCO kids, you got San Jack, Millennium, Trinity Valley, Texas A&M Commerce, whereas Abilene Christian, they went out, recruited a bit more of the high school girls, and they've got a few freshmen actually making the starting lineup here today.
Without a doubt, 48 degrees today, first pitch, 20 mile an hour or so winds out of the north. Cohen, how do you think that is going to influence on a chilly day? How's that going to influence the flight of the ball?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about this all the time when we're doing baseball games, and we're out in West Texas. It's always windy, and you look at the American flag out there, and she's blowing pretty hard towards the left field foul pole. So I mean, you never really know. You can make predictions all you want, but then it goes out in the middle of the game and it pops a Yui on you and starts blowing the other way. So I don't want to jinx anything.
You're right. Approximately 190 feet down the line, 200 feet center, 180 feet down the right field line. So there is an opportunity to sneak one out as the Wildcats run out here. First game of their season with Riley White on the mound. Riley White's a junior, wearing number 15, wearing all white today, white socks, white shoes, white jersey for the Wildcats. Coming back for her third season at ACU. Cohen, what are you looking for out of Riley today to get the Wildcats off to a good start here in 2023?
Yeah, I mean, you said it, third season, and she's showing a lot of progress. Last season, obviously, if you're a Wildcat fan, the efforts of Sydney Holman-Manziel are not lost on you. She kind of carried that pitching staff for a majority of the season. She pitched an extraordinary 186 innings pitched. But Riley White was second on the pitching staff with 84 innings pitched with a respectable 5.6 ERA. So she's looking to make some leaps and bounds here. She's going to be the main girl for this squad. She's shown in the past, especially last season, that she was able to take on some innings. And she can go a few solid games for you, so it's looking like she's going to progress this season. And it's going to be a great pitching battle here tonight. You mentioned Riley White. On the other side of the mound, you got Sierra Galvin for the Corpus Christi, A&M Corpus Christi, and she's also a returner. So two returners on the mound.
Looking forward to this matchup. Again, this is part of a opening weekend Wildcat Invitational here. Four different teams here. We're very excited to be bringing this to you. We'll have a game on ESPN Plus brought to you by ACUTV and our students here in the journalism department at ACU at 4 o'clock, and then the Wildcats will play again against the Miners at 7 p.m. As we lead off here again, A&M Corpus Christi coming off a 25-27 season last year. They did pick up their first one of the year earlier today against Murray State. Juliana Garcia, center fielder, number 2, is going to lead off for A&M Corpus Christi here.
So, yeah, it's an invitational this weekend, right? So it's going to be a lot of teams are coming here to Abilene, to Polly Wells Field, and they're all playing each other. I think the teams are obviously ACU, A&M Corpus Christi, Murray State, UTEP. They're all coming here. They're going to play a few games. As we mentioned, A&M Corpus Christi played Murray State. They're 1-0. Liking the start of their season. ACU similarly looking for a hot start to theirs.
And here we go. First pitch of the season for the Wildcats. White delivers just a bit outside, 1-0. ACU is led by Abigail Farler in her third season for the Wildcats, coming off their best season under her, as Riley White delivers high and inside, 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, Farler really made some waves last season. I think if you're a Wildcats fan, you're watching a few of those series. Obviously, the big storyline was beating Texas Tech. That was a huge win for them, and they had a few good rivalry wins, SFA and Sam Houston, looking to repeat that this year.
White delivers just off the outside corner, so she starts at 3-0 here. Cohen, why is it important to get ahead in the count if you're a young pitcher like this?
Well, if you get behind 3-0 as a pitcher, you're just giving the batter a lot of options here. She can take, she can swing. It's becoming a little more common for batters to take 3-0 pitches, but
and she did.
That one's
Looks
gonna
like
be
that
called
one
a
caught
strike.
the looks like that one caught the inside of the plate there. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, you see people teeing off anywhere at all levels of softball and baseball at 3-0 now. The analytics.
Yeah.
Here's Riley White, 3-1. Delivery swung on and lifted down the left field line and out of play behind us. So she's battled back here, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Again, the Islanders are coming off a 25-27 season to get them back in the Southern Conference Tournament for the first time since 2015. White delivers, and she missed outside, so setting the table early. Cohen, why is that a big deal for Corpus Christi coming off a win already today?
Coming off a win already, and talking about Juliana Garcia, who just drew a walk right there. She's 1 for 1 in her plate appearance at Murray State. She's, 1 for 3 rather. She's batting .330, so she's demonstrated the ability, obviously, to get on base. She can hit it, she can walk, and that's big for the A&M Corpus Christi, getting a runner on.
This is Sydney Campion. She takes outside the ball, gets away. Going down to second base is Garcia, setting the table earlier for the Islanders.
Runner in scoring position early, and that's going to be a big part of this game, I think, too, is runners on the base paths and how effective they are at staying on base. Stealing was a rather big part of ACU's season last year. They set the D1 record in ACU history for stolen bases under Farler.
Well, especially with the wind here, you're going to
Yes,
need
that
to
too.
score runs early. The pitch, just outside, so she's missing early here. Really needs to get ahead in the count if you're Abigail Farler's Wildcats.
Yeah, missing early, but not missing by much. I think a lot of these calls could go either way, but for sure, if you're Wildcats, Riley White looking to lock in here down the stretch.
The 1-1, swung on and missed.
That was a nice riser right there. Pitched it coming out of the hand. Looks like it's going to go middle, but it cuts up and it almost gives you a shave right there under the chin. Good pitch right there by White.
The 1-2 from White. She shows bunt. She misses high. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And that's another big thing, too, when you're talking about runners on the base paths and stealing bases. And obviously we had a wild pitch there to advance the runner, but it opens up the door to small ball, and, man, who doesn't love small ball? I know everything nowadays is about hitting the long ball. It's about on-base percentage, all that good stuff. But
it's actually 3-1 here, so she'll bunt again. So now it's 3-2.
A little bit of small ball, and that's what you were talking about with the importance of getting runners on base right there, is it opens the opportunity for the batters to do things like this.
Well, it sets the table for the third hitter, Tanise Tyson, who's obviously off to a hot start this year. She had 3 at-bats and had a big game the first game. So the 3-2, swung on and missed. White gets her first strikeout of the year.
That's big for Riley White. Obviously, we were mentioning her trouble finding the zones through the first 2 batters, but maybe a chance right there to get settled down. So we take a look at the replay right here. Just missed it. Thing of note, too, when you're looking at this A&M Corpus Christi roster, the top 3 in the lineup, they're all transfers, college transfers, too, JUCOs.
As Tyson takes a big hack. The right fielder coming off a big game with a hit, a run. Nice job by Riley White to stand in the circle and get a big strikeout there with the runner in scoring position early in the game. The 0-1.
Changing signs.
Swung on and lifted in the infield. Over is the third baseman, Eichelberger. She'll make the catch. 2 outs here early.
You saw Eichelberger trying to ascertain where that was going to land right there. I wonder how much of that was due to the wind. It's kind of blowing in that direction. Eichelberger may having to be deal with that all day throughout these 2 games here as this wind continues.
Standing in for the Islanders is the cleanup hitter, Sydney Hoyt, Jr., batting 1,000 for the year. Obviously just 1 game. Looks pretty good on the score sheet.
It looks really good on the score sheet.
She had an at-bat and a hit earlier in the day against the Racers.
Batted in the sole RBI in that game as well.
The 0-1 from White. Just inside.
Good eye right there by Hoyt. Seeing the ball coming on inside a little bit, able to back off of it. Sell the location a bit to the blue behind the plate.
The 1-1 just outside. If you're just joining us, this is the Wildcat Invitational from Polly Wells Field here in Abilene, Texas. 48 degrees, first pitch, 20-mile-an-hour wind from the north. It's affected the ball just a little bit so far, but we haven't had many fly balls.
White pitching around the zone a little bit, but that's sort of acceptable as here comes the pitch. As you see right there, she's getting more swings. So I think when you start to get more swings, obviously that first at bat isn't what you wanted to see, but as you keep on pitching, you start seeing more swings, and it starts to demonstrate what they're going to swing at. You're able to know what to pitch and locate well.
Swung on and hit down the left field line. That is a foul ball.
That was just barely foul, too. Eichelberger made a heck of a play trying to almost Derek Jeter and get that out of the air as we take a look at the replay here. And that thing was shot down the third baseline.
From our perspective here, that was just inches foul.
It was inches foul, and it was barely off the glove of Eichelberger. She's been a defensive mainstay for this Wildcat squad.
The 2-2 two-out pitch in the dirt.
Big pitch here, get out of the inning.
It's important here for White, settle down after losing the first batter to see if she can get out of the inning for the Wildcats. But Hoyt takes the inside. That'll be a walk. It's her second walk of the day.
This is a strict umpire. Looks like that White's going to have to deal with today. Obviously, she thought she had the strikeout. Looked like it was a little bit in the zone as
check it out here.
we take a look at the replay.
It was just inside from the umpire's perspective there.
Just inside, a little bit of late movement right there, and we kind of saw that
the late movement.
The late movement, we saw that earlier in the at bat. That time came back to bite her. But it looked real tempting. It was a good job by Hoyt to lay off that pitch.
So here's Gabriela Torres. She takes the first pitch outside. Torres is a senior. She's catching for the Islanders today, wearing number 1. The 1-0 from White. Swung on and lifted behind us here. Foul.
Torres last year, one of the better hitters for Corpus Christi. 243 slash line. Took up a good majority of the at-bats, looking to reprise her role here as catcher.
The 1-1 from White. Off speed inside. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Again, getting high in the pitch count yet again. White's found herself in this predicament quite a lot so far, just the first half of the first inning.
The 2-1. Swung on and hit deep to left field. That ball is at the track, at the wall, and that ball is history. Gabriela Torres gets the Islanders on the board here early off of Riley White and the Wildcats.
Well, she gets them on the board figuratively and literally. That ball hit the scoreboard. It was a good chunk of change that she was able to push out there to left field.
And again, from our perspective here, we have a great perspective. That ball was pounded.
It was smoked. You could tell off the bat. Sounded nice, looked nice. That's going to doink off the scoreboard right there. Never had a chance.
Some great camera work by our student-run crew
great
here.
Camera work.
Jalen Garrett directing for us today.
But we were talking about the dangers of letting runners on base, and that walk certainly hurts a lot more now than it did 5 minutes ago.
And this is Kaman Rogan. She takes outside corner there. You know, and going back, Cohen, we go back to Sydney Hoyt's borderline pitch.
Yep. No, that's big. That's gonna,
because
that's gonna
that
be
sets
big.
the table, and now you have 3 runs on the board for the Islanders.
Gabrielle Torres last year only hit 4 home runs. She wasn't really a power hitter, was really hitting more for average, even though she wasn't the best average hitter, but right there was able to got a good look at it and launched it. But yeah, like you said, all comes back to that big call on Hoyt, on the Hoyt at bat.
The pitch from White is upstairs. Really would be a nice day without the wind here.
It really would be, yeah.
48 degrees in February in Abilene. It's about right, but it is windy Abilene. So a nice crowd on hand here for the first game of the Wildcat season as Riley White pitches, and a little foul tip right in front of the home plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Riley White just looking to get out of this inning, get back into the dugout, get some coaching. Looking at her, seeing what she's doing wrong, hopefully get a few pointers, tips, and tricks in the dugout, come back out for a strong second inning.
The 1-2 swung on and fouled off. White sets. The 1-2 swung on and lifted high into left field. Under it's the shortstop. She'll make the play, and that'll be the inning. But the Islanders get 3 on the board early in the Wildcat Invitational, looking to go 2-0. We'll be back right after this. ESPN Plus. Back at Polly Wells Field, Sadie Eichelberger stands in for the Wildcats, a senior, against Sierra Galvin. The pitch from Galvin, inside corner. What do you see from Galvin here, Cohen?
Yeah, like we mentioned, this is going to be the battle of 2 returners on the mound. Galvin pitched for them last year, was not their ace in the sense that she didn't pitch their most innings, but she did have the best ERA on the Islanders last year, boasting an impressive 2.13 ERA. She's coming out here looking to have a similar season, but she's looking to take more of those innings pitched, eat more innings. But by all means, a great pitcher from last season looking to continue her efforts here.
The 1-1 to Eichelberger. She swings and lifts it foul back toward our soccer field here at Abilene Christian.
And you can say the same thing about Eichelberger, returning last season, had a very impressive .329 batting average, was one of the leaders on that Wildcats squad. Again, we were talking about how maybe offensively could have been an issue last season for the Wildcats, not able to put up enough runs. But if you look at the season and the returners, they had a lot of returners compared to what most teams had, and over 70% of their offense in terms of RBIs and extra base hits are returning to this squad. So looking to build on that this season.
Yeah, Abigail Farler's building something here in Abilene, and it'll take a few years, but they're getting there. The 2-2 swung on and lifted back once again out of play.
And I think you can definitely, just to elaborate on that, you said she's building something, and I think it's definitely true, especially when you look at all the freshmen that they went out and required, and a lot of young transfers as well. You've got a few girls who redshirted at another college who transferred here for their sophomore year. A lot of youth on this Wildcat squad.
The 2-2 is just inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Eichelberger produces a lot of walks. The leadoff spot, that's what you want.
Mm-hmm.
You want someone who sets the table, similar to what happened in the top of the first inning with Garcia. So here's Galvin's 3-2 full count pitch to the senior. Swung on and lifted into left field. Actually, the wind's going to bring it back into the infield for the shortstop to make the play. Nice play there by D'Alvia. Take a look at it here
Good
again.
short swing here by Eichelberger, just got a bit under it. Take a look at that replay. And yeah, the wind's out in force today, but probably a pop out either way. Up to bat now, the shortstop, Miranda Lista for the Wildcats.
The sophomore stands in. She's the shortstop today for the Wildcats, wearing number 2, standing in from the right side. The pitch from Galvin is swung on and hit right over the shortstop's head. A nice base hit. She's going to try to stretch it into a double. The throw is not in time. And here come the Wildcats.
Little shortstop to shortstop action right there. Really giving Quinn D'Avila a run for her money there at the shortstop position. We take a look at the replay, look at the hit. Couldn't see the fielding right there, but it was right outside of the mitt of number 27 for the Islanders. Good base running right there. Able to pull into second safely.
And here's Shaylee Alani, second baseman for the Wildcats today. Stands in from the left side and takes a strike on the inside corner.
Now, Shaylee Alani's a nice story. Obviously, if you're a Wildcat fan, you're going to remember her from last season, but not very distinctly. She only played in 11 games before she got injured, and she's one of the, again, young members of this Wildcat squad that there's a lot of high expectations for, and she was a crucial part of the lineup in 2021. She was second in batting average, and she led the team in hits and doubles. But again, that injury last year sidelined her, and she's back now looking for a big season out of her. If this Wildcat squad is gonna go far, it's gonna be thanks in part to Shaylee Alani.
The 0-2 from Galvin is outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yeah, I agree. An everyday starter at second base. So crucial for the Wildcats and Coach Farler, hoping to get back to her old self.
Mm-hmm.
The 1-2 from Galvin. Swung on and fouled off.
Just looking to stay in at bats here. If you're the Wildcats, you're going up against Galvin. We mentioned how potent that she was last season. If you can just get a good eye on these pitches, able to read them well, take a few, get on base, put a dent in her game plan.
The 1-2 is chopped right over our heads, literally right over our heads. We were looking for a souvenir there, Cohen.
I would have caught it.
Yeah, I probably would not have. Donnie Rundell, the home plate umpire today, is heading over to Jessica Twaddle, assistant coach for the Wildcats, to get a couple of new game balls there.
Got scuffed up. Mentioned Alani, she led the team in hits, pretty powerful. Able to scuff the ball up enough right there on that foul.
The senior stands in. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Good at bat here from Alani. Got down early, 0-2. Able to fight her way back. 2-2 count.
Runner at second, 1 out. The 2-2 swung on and hit fairly deep to center field. Coming on as a center fielder, she will make the catch, and no threat for the Wildcats to advance there.
That kept riding and riding inward, and it almost looked like it was going to drop, but because it rode in so much, runner on second not able to advance. Again, that's right into the wind as well, so you wonder how much of that had to affect it on there on that high fly ball. Either way.
The wind definitely affected there as we look at the right-hander, Sammy Shaylander. She's a freshman, wearing number 34. The first pitch from Galvin is high and outside.
Shaylander, you mentioned freshman, and she's one of the a lot of youth coming into this Wildcat squad out of Kipner High School in Sugar Land, Texas. She's the first baseman in her first year action here at the Wildcats.
The 1-0 from Galvin is fouled off.
Galvin's done a good job, especially comparatively, that she's doing a really good job of attacking the strike zone. She's getting a lot of swings out of these Wildcat pitchers, but the placement is such to where a lot of these are harmless foul balls, and as we just saw, a harmless fly ball.
The 1-1 is upstairs. Two balls, one strike to the freshman, standing in at 6-1 from the right side. The pitch from the lefty is on the inside corner. So just to recap, the Islanders got on the board early with a 3-run homer by Torres in the top of the first. The Wildcats looking to answer here with 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs, and a runner at second base in Miranda Lista. The pitch swung on and missed. That'll be the inning. No runs on a hit. Coming back to Polly Wells Field. A beautiful day here for softball. The Islanders and the Wildcats. 3-0 Islanders. Back at Polly Wells Field here, Texas A&M Texas A&M Corpus Christi and Abilene Christian. 3-0 Islanders on early home run. On the top of the first by Gabriela Torres is the difference. Riley White steps back into the circle for her second inning of work against Palomina Baez. The first pitch to Baez.
I think if you're Riley White coming back out here for this half inning, obviously it's going to sound simple, but throw the ball in the strike zone a little more. Even if it does cause a lot of soft contact, you've got a really good defense behind you. That's something that Farler hang her hat on last season with this ACU squad, was the fielding percentage for all these girls was really high. a lot of stellar athletes there on the infield. So even if you're getting these maybe possibly infield hits hitting right back at you, that's fine because the talent behind you can compensate for it.
Absolutely. 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch from White, low and outside. Baez, the freshman, played earlier in the day, did not get on base. Wearing number 8 today from the left side. The pitch to the second baseman, swung on and fouled off to our left.
This would be a really good part of the game right now for White to kind of get back in the swing of things, find her pitch, I guess you could say. As she's going against Baez last season, only hit 188. She's a returner for the Islanders. At the bottom of the lineup here, she's got the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. Good chance to bounce back here for Wright.
The 2-2 from White. Swung on and missed. It's her second strikeout of the day.
There's a good pitch right there from White. She finally got what she was looking for again, attacking the strike zone. Went high with this one, is able to get the swing. High and outside, looks like, and good enough movement on it away from the batter. Looked appealing enough. Got the swing and a miss.
Here's the left fielder, Alina Jasso. First pitch. Misses inside. Home plate umpire Donnie Runnold behind the home plate. Brett Harden, first base, and Garrett Knowles at third base for our crew. The 1-0 from White is upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and this is out of 8 batters, Cohen. We've seen her do this 6 or 7 times now, get behind in the count. Again,
Yep.
How does that affect a young pitcher?
Well, I mean, just look at the difference between Wright's performance and Galvin's performance. They were both able to go out there, but their approach obviously was very different. We mentioned Galvin when she was on the mound. She was able to go consistently, get in front of the batter, was able to get a few strikeouts, get a lot of soft contact, and get out of that inning with a 1 hit and no runs. But obviously you look at Wright's first inning, different story, and a lot of that's thanks in part to the count that she's at right now.
White's 3-0 pitch hits the outside corner. 3 balls and 1 strike. She was taken all the way there.
Alina Jasso, Texas A&M Commerce last year, another one of these transfers. Again, most of the lineup, as there's another strike, most of the lineup for the Islanders is transfers. Was not here last season. Different faces all around.
3-0 Islanders here as the sun peeks out. The 3-2 pitch from Riley White. Upstairs, she missed. It's her 3rd walk of the day.
And you talk about how dangerous it is to get behind in the count. If you're the batter and you're down 3-0, you can do it again like Jasso just did right there, is auto take all the way. You saw it on the 3-0 pitch. You saw right there. You're able to have a bit more leniency, and so the burden is off of you a little bit when it comes to judging whether or not a pitch is in the strike zone or not, because you know you've got so much cushion with a 3-0 count.
Runner on with 1 out here. Quinn De Avila, the shortstop. Looks at a ball outside.
Quinn De Avila, also a returner for the Islanders, batting .209 last year. Her first year in the starting lineup.
The 1-0 from White. Taken again. As the sun peeks out here, we have, just a reminder, we'll have 1 more game after this. They played 4 games. They will play 4 games total today. Go all the way through Sunday. Here's the 2-0 pitch from White. She misses outside again. 3 balls and no strikes. This could be a dangerous trend here with bottom of the lineup kind of turning over.
It's looking like it.
Garcia coming up.
A lot of these pitches, too, missing fairly solidly outside. Obviously, was able to get the strike call right there, but past few have been outside by a good margin.
It's important here that White bears down and tries to get a ground ball here, or just
for sure,
just an out.
Again, soft contact is not
Yep.
going to kill you, especially with a runner on first. So we're going to take a minute here. Catcher's going to have a talk with her pitcher.
Junior Avery Mylock gives us a chance to go around the diamond here. Riling at third, Lista at short, Alani at second base, and Shelander for the Wildcats. The infield is, again, looking for a double play here.
Yeah, looking for a double play for sure. And like we mentioned before, this is a team that had phenomenal fielding percentage last season. Anything that was in the infield hit at them, they were usually able to turn one, turn two. Again, that'd be a blessing right here for Wright. Get her out of the inning.
3 balls and 1 strike. The pitch from White swung on and lifted foul, out of play.
And again, I mean, this is sort of, I'm not saying that Wright's going out here and doing this on purpose, but there are pitchers, Framber Valdez for the Astros, to use a baseball example, goes out there all the time, gets a runner on first, and is able to consistently almost get a double play and get himself out of the inning. There's a lot of these soft contact pitchers, and especially when you got a great defense behind you like the Wildcats do, that's a viable option for sure.
Nevertheless, she misses again inside. That's her 4th walk of the game, as the shortstop for the Wildcats, Lista, comes in and chats with her just for a second.
And a lot of this, you know, first pitch, as you mentioned, first pitch, first game of the 2023 year of the season. But we're going to have a pitching change here as Wright's going to come out of the game.
Yeah, this is a bit surprising early, but
yeah,
again.
Looks like coming in for her is number 21, a junior, Talia Nielsen.
Yeah, Nielsen, a junior from Bakersfield, California. She came over from Bakersfield College. She'll get a couple of warm-up pitches here, wearing number 21. No hat, wearing sunglasses today as the sun peeks out.
Again, yeah, it is kind of surprising this early on, pulling the starter, but obviously Wright was having trouble finding the zone. And she's demonstrated before that she's got the talent, obviously. We've seen last season her numbers were very good in the appearances that she made. So looking to just come to the dugout, get her bearings, have a talk with the pitching coach, and sort things out, get ready for her next appearance.
Well, it's important, too, here for the Wildcats to not let this one slip too early, right?
Yes.
Down 3-0. Again, that's not nothing. 3 runs is going to be a lot in today's game with the wind. Back to the top of the lineup. Garcia already produced a walk. It's 4 walks for the Wildcats already today. Abigail Farler goes out and talks to her team. Obviously, speaking with her new pitcher Nielsen, definitely wanting to make sure that she settles the team down and make sure that she gets an out here.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe coming out with a new approach altogether. Obviously, this is going to be the second time through the lineup. That could be a big part of the decision here is obviously number 2's back up on the plate, resetting the order. And, you know, second time through the lineup, you see the pitcher a lot better. And Wright already was missing the zone, so she didn't want to give the batters an opportunity to jump on a few of those mistakes.
2 on, 1 out. Islanders up 3-0 here in the second. The pitch from Nielsen. Upstairs. Garcia worked a walk her first time up, setting the table for the Islanders to get on the board last inning. The pitch from Nielsen is a strike on the outside corner.
And you've got to imagine in softball almost that with how many pitches the pitchers can toss, this may be Nielsen's game going on. Finishing up here.
The pitch swung on and bounced to the shortstop. This could be 2. Over to second for 1. That's all they'll get.
A little bit of runners on the base pass happening right there. Obviously, we saw.
Well, now they're deliberating if she's actually out.
Yeah,
or not.
it looked like a very close play, and from where I'm seeing, she's.
Take a look at the replay here. Dea Vila will come into second base. Does she get there first? It's close. It's pretty close.
She does. But either way, Miranda Lista right there was able to make the play at second.
So the Wildcats get it out there. A much needed out, even though it was close. Stepping in is Sydney Campion.
Wasn't able to turn 2 there. It looked like Lista backed up maybe for the runner.
Swung on and lifted. Down the
go.
left field line, this will be foul, but coming on is Taylor. She will not get the ball. We'll reset here.
Yeah, and let me tell you which way the wind's blowing. It's
Blowing straight from the north.
blowing that way. That's why the ball went that way.
Polly Wells here. The north is going to be from right field to left field. And
Yep.
that even shows how powerful that home run was that we saw just about 20 minutes ago from
Oh, yeah.
Torres.
Cut through it like butter.
Oh and 1 to the DH. She squares around to bunt, down to third base. A little movement on the bases there as the runner takes second base.
That's big right there. Obviously, it's still 2 outs, but you lose the force at second.
So 2 on still. Now the runner has moved up to second base. The 1-1 from Nielsen is high. Yeah, nice play by the Islanders there. Throw down to third base by the Wildcats. They'll take second base.
Great job by Juliana Garcia, number 2. Base runner on first base right there. Was able to see that, make that play.
2 balls, 1 strike. The pitch swung on and hit right field. This will produce 2 runs. 1 run will score. Here comes the second run, and she is safe.
Big collision right there at home plate, but how big is that stealing of second base now? You put 2 runners in scoring position, lining up a hit like that.
Let's take a look at the replay here, Cohen.
She's able to poke it into right field.
Pretty nice throw there.
A really nice throw. Made it a competitive play. Obviously, huge collision there at home plate. Hopefully everyone's okay, and it looks like they are.
But once again, the Islanders are doing the small things here, taking second base, taking the walk, making sure that they get ahead in the count. And now Abigail Farler is chatting with home plate umpire Donnie Rundell. I assume asking about was that a illegal collision?
Yeah. It looks like Blue's standing behind his decision. He's explaining that to Farler.
See if we can get another replay here.
Again, Avery Mylock does seem to be okay. She's the catcher involved in that incident right there.
And again, from our perspective, as we look at the replay again,
kind of walking through it right here at home plate. As we take a look at the replay.
So it looked like a legal slide to me. Again,
yeah, Mylock just got caught up in it.
She did.
I think she may have even touched the bag before there was contact, so obviously that's going to be a pretty easy call for the Blue. But again, Farler's just looking out for her players, as any good manager would.
Really nice job there by our ACUTV crew. Denise Tyson stands in, the right fielder.
It's a 5-run game now.
The junior swings and lifts one deep to right field. Back at the track, that ball will fall in front of Davila. 1 run will score, and into second base is Denise Tyson. 6-0 early here.
A lot of power out there to right field. Obviously, Miranda Davila, we're going to take a look at the replay right here. Kind of looking into the sun here. Maybe misplays it a little bit. She's going back on it and takes a wonky angle, lets it drop. Maybe could have been an out, but definitely not going to be an error. Just a good piece of hitting right there by another good piece of hitting by the Islanders.
And here's the cleanup hitter, Sydney Hoyt.
And again, if you're Farler, you're in a pretty tough situation here. You at least need Nielsen to get out of the inning.
Absolutely. You want her to eat some innings here.
Yeah. Initially, coming in, I thought she may be able to finish the game up for Farler, but we'll have to see how it's going. And again, you got to keep in mind that they're playing 2 games today, 1 at 4, 1 at 7.
The pitch from Nielsen, just outside. Lots of game left for the Wildcats.
For sure, yeah. And this is a team, again, we talked about how they retained over 70% of their offense in terms of RBIs, extra base hits, a lot of youth on this team, a lot of explosion, a lot of power. Not out of it for sure.
The 1-1 swung on and lifted high in the infield. Under it is Shelander, and she'll take care of it. But 3 more runs for the Islanders. We'll be right back from Polly Wells Field. The Islanders are up 6-0 early over the Wildcats from Abilene. Welcome back to the Wildcat Invitational. Texas A&M Corpus Christi up 6-0 here early over the Wildcats. Bottom of the second inning.
Made Sierra Galvin's job a lot easier now. She's got a pretty hefty cushion, and this is already from a pitcher that doesn't allow a lot of contact. A lot of her outs is going to come via the strikeout.
The pitch from Galvin, just outside.
So far, she's had real good placement. She's had real good velocity, I guess, especially compared to Wright. It's visually, pitch is coming out her hand a lot faster.
Olivia Taylor in for the Wildcats, batting from the right side. She takes a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Olivia Taylor, sophomore out of Southern Idaho College. Again, a lot of youth, young college products, a lot of high school, new high school.
The 1-1 from Galvin, high and outside. This is how the Wildcats can get back in this. Again, they haven't gone through their whole lineup yet, but if you can get Galvin behind in the count, set the table, just takes a couple of swings.
For sure, and like we mentioned, Galvin likes her strikeouts. That's what she's been fishing for. But if you can see the zone well, if you can, like you said, get ahead in the count as the batter, you can start doing what the Islanders did to Riley White, put a few runs on the board.
2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on for ACU, down 6-0. The pitch from Galvin in the dirt. On deck is the catcher, Avery Mylock, who was involved in that collision earlier in the top of the second inning. The full count pitch from Galvin. Swung on and missed. She'll run down to first. 1 out.
Just looking at her numbers last season, again, we mentioned how she likes the strikeouts, but over 2 times the amount of strikeouts as walks, and she only pitched a quarter as much as the ace from last season for the Islanders, but she was only 20 behind in strikeout numbers. So, again, great pitcher, and she's going to be a great ace for this Islanders team. If they go far, it's largely going to be due to her efforts.
Junior Avery Mylock stands in from the right side, wearing number 13. White batting gloves. Chilly today, long sleeves.
Already a meeting being taken here.
Yeah, it looks like Torres, who was responsible for that first home run, went out and talked to her pitcher, Galvin, there. One 1-0 to the junior. The pitch upstairs. Cone, do you start pitching a little bit different, approaching it different if you're up by 6 runs as opposed to up by 3 runs?
I think if you're a real good pitcher who's real confident in their craft, no. I think you stay with your game plan. You've obviously game planned these guys coming in. You've got your cards, how you're going to play them, how you're going to pitch them.
Yep.
And so far that's worked for Galvin. No sense in changing it. You know, if it ain't broke. And I think the cushion is just something it's good to have in the back of your mind. If you make a mistake here and let up a solo shot, it's good to know that your offense has come through for you in the previous innings, but it shouldn't change your calculus at all on the mound.
Pitching to contact, you hear that all the time. Just pitch to contact.
Mm-hmm.
2 balls, 1 strike. Misses outside.
Real tight strike zone from this umpire.
Seems like Donnie Rundell has been consistent there.
Yes, that is true.
There. Wind out of the north, 48 degrees. The 3-1 pitch, swung on and lifted high down the right field line. That ball's fading. And we lost it there, but I believe she did not come up with it.
Went foul by just a few feet. Good power off the bat of the catcher.
Well, and again,
that's right into the wind, too.
The right fielder, Tyson, as we look at the replay here, the right fielder, Tyson, made an effort.
Yeah, she was hauling down that right field line. Wasn't able to get to it. Couldn't see from our booth here, but we're taking a look at the replay. Oh, and yeah, not able. Taking a dive at the end there.
The full count pitch is swung on and fouled off again. No play is here. Again, we wanted to see that replay there, but she dove.
Yeah.
And made a good effort there. We just weren't able to see it from our vantage point here.
Avery Mylock, I think either way, whatever happens in this at-bat, this has been a pretty good at-bat. She's taken Galvin for her most pitches in an at-bat so far. She's had a few good foul balls, a few good contacts. Take a look at the pitch here.
This ball is swung on and lifted in a similar fashion down the right field line, and it will scoop into the batting cage.
Again, great at-bat. The more pitches that you're going to see from Galvin, the more possibilities of a mistake. And that's really what you're looking for right here. You're looking just open the floodgates, do something. Even if it's just a solo shot, just an extra base hit, maybe get into second. Anything to get into kind of Galvin's psyche here, take a crack at her. And the more pitches you see from her, the more mistakes that she's going to inevitably toss at you. So good at-bat here by the catcher.
And if anything, if you're the Wildcats, you just need to kind of, as a football term, as the Super Bowl's coming up, you want to keep the defense off the field here.
For sure.
You want to slow down the pitcher, slow down the hitter, make sure that you can focus on setting the table for your team. The pitch swung on, and this ball is drilled to right center field at the track, at the wall, and a nice play. Man, that ball was drilled, and that definitely had a lot to do with the win.
It definitely did.
Cohen?
I think
out
so.
The replay
We'll take
here.
a look at the replay, but that's 10 feet away from being that one mistake that we were talking about that Galvin could have given up. That's deep in the zone. She almost went down, golfed that, but not able to get it out of there. It's a good swing, though. And as we mentioned before, that's a good at-bat by Mylock, getting the pitch count up. Obviously, it doesn't matter too much in softball, but able to see a lot from Galvin. And right there, maybe almost made a mistake, had the wind backing her up, though.
And here's Miranda Davila. The pitch to the lefty. Strike. Quickly down 0-2.
Again, you're just looking to milk this at-bat for all it's worth. Obviously, with 2 outs, you're going to need to get on base here. But just anything. And that is a great take right there. That was flirting with a strike in every sense of the word.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. ACU down 6-0 here to the visiting Islanders, Wildcat Invitational. The 2-strike pitch just misses.
Davila's showing off her good eye right now. Able to fight her way back, even the count up at 2.
As the sun peeks out here at Polly Wells, the pitch, high and tight.
able to work it back full after being down 0-2. That's insanely impressive to be able to get out of the auto swing mode when you're down 0-2 and just start looking. Put the onus on the pitcher to make a great, phenomenal pitch. Galvin
the 3-2 pitch is swung on and lifted into left center. That'll be their second hit of the day. Setting the table for the Wildcats here with 2 outs.
Not making Quinta Avila's life real easy out there at shortstop. She's been jumping all over the place and hasn't been able to get to much. It's just a great piece of hitting. Again, low in the zone, able to fish it out. Booping into left field right there and able to get a single. Runner on base here. Finally, again, we're mentioning cracking the psyche of Galvin. That's how you do it.
The 2-out pitch is outside.
Again, and we mentioned this before when talking about Wright, but it looks like the Wildcats are definitely seeing Galvin a lot better second time through the lineup here. A lot of these at-bats are being lengthened. Again, maybe they're just a lot of what Galvin has in her arsenal.
Swung on and hit deep. That ball is at the track, at the wall, and it'll get over the right fielder's head. Abigail Farler is going to hold up Davila at third base. Big time hit by Bubba Rote there.
That was huge, and that was right into the wind too, and that was able to back up all the way to the warning track. Take a look right there. Kind of placed perfectly in between the 2 outfielders and was able to slide into second. Now you got 2 runners in scoring position, and the catcher's going to have to talk with her pitcher right here.
Yeah, and Maddie Riling stands up, the junior third baseman. She's got a chance to drive in 2 runs here. Really nice piece of hitting there by Bubba.
And this is a big spot, and obviously it's only the bottom half of the second inning here. Man, feels like it's longer, but bottom half of the second inning, and you know, this is almost as big of a spot as you can be in for this point in the game. Mentioned Maddie Riling, 9-hole hitter. She's got 2 runners in scoring position here. Galvin's looked as vulnerable as she has this entire game.
Need to get on the board here if you're ACU. The pitch from Galvin, swung on and fouled off.
That's exactly what she's trying to do. She's looking for anything she can get right here, but you know, you don't need to be the hero. You don't need to kill it. You don't need to send it over the wall. You just need to. You got 2 runners in scoring position here. Anything into the outfield's most likely going to score 2. At least will score 1, and give your team a shot.
2 on, 2 out. The pitch catches the outside corner.
You got to get out for as odd as it's going to sound. You got to get out of hero ball mode. Again, can't be swinging for the fences. 0-2 count right here.
The 0-2 swung on and missed, and that'll do it for the Wildcats. No runs on a hit. Be right back after this on ESPN+. Six to nothing from Polly Wells Field. ACU and Texas A&M Corpus Christi. The Islanders have jumped on Riley White and the Wildcats for 6 early runs. Home run early, got the Islanders on the board from Torres, and now they're looking to capitalize.
Again, this looks like Nielsen's game. She's going to have to come in here, pitch a few innings, hopefully close the thing out. But she's going to have to start by getting ahead in these counts. Something that she struggled to do last inning. Something that starter White struggled to do. And that's what Galvin's done a real good job at. That's what's kept her in this, kept this game scoreless on their behalf.
Here's the pitch to Torres.
In 1-1 count here.
Of course she does. Here we go. Nice shot down the right field line and a beautiful play.
Now how about that?
What a beautiful play from the right fielder, Davila. Nice play by ACU to save at least one base.
A bit slow to get up. Looked like she's maybe hobbling a bit.
What an effort here by the right fielder for the Wildcats.
Yeah, that's again, we mentioned the phenomenal defensive play of this Wildcat squad. Davila is no exception to the rule. Obviously, we mentioned she was a bit slow to get up, walking around, but she looks like she's going to walk it off, stay in the game. Maybe she just wanted to savor the moment a little bit. It was a nice play after all.
And again, Gabriela Torres, she's the as they look at the right fielder, she's the reason that the Islanders are up 3-0. She's hit the ball hard twice today. Let's take another look at it here.
And that was real close to being a hit. Probably the expecting batting average on that ball. Obviously, stats being such a big thing now in the baseball scene, expecting batting average was probably insanely high. That was a rocket to right field. Dropped real quick. Davila still able to get underneath it. Impressive athleticism. And she's going to stay out there. Miranda Avila showing some toughness, showing some grit after the phenomenal display of athleticism, doing it all. $17 now up to bat. The Trinity Valley College product. Now with the Islanders.
The pitch is painted on the outside corner. Well, you wonder if maybe the play by the right fielder of the Wildcats there maybe sparked the Wildcats at all.
No, that's true. A lot of these momentum plays start with something electric like that, and I mean, it's looking to pay dividends right now. Nielsen coming off hot in this at bat. 2 strikes, gets a swing and a miss. So, yeah, no, momentum plays can come from anywhere, and it may be silly to think that something happens on offense may affect something on defense and vice versa, but you never know.
The 0-2, high and upstairs.
Yeah, it looks like catcher called it high, and Nielsen tossed it a bit too high. Had to flash a quick my bad.
Well, the third baseman, Ragran, was showing bunt there, and she is again. The pitch is swung on and lifted to right field once again. Coming on is the right fielder for the Wildcats, Davila, and she won't be able to get this one. This rolls all the way to the wall.
And that just died midair, didn't it?
It did, and again, that's part of the win. Take a look at the replay here.
That's probably the one, 3 square yard spot in the entire outfield that ball could have dropped, and it could have landed safely for a hit. That's exactly what it did. Right in between, again, right almost there was the right fielder, Davila.
Here's the pitch. So Ragran at second base.
Paulina Baez at bat.
Baez, the freshman.
Freshman lefty.
The pitch is swung on and hit to the right side. Shelander has no play as she looks to third base, and no one is covering. A nice play with the glove, but no one was covering at first base. 2 on and nobody out for the Islanders.
So that would have been a close play either way. I think protocol there is usually the pitcher should go out. Anything hitting that area, obviously Sheelander, pretty good job by able to scoop it. Take a look at the replay. Should be the pitcher Nielsen, I believe, in most scenarios would have been covering the bag right there, but with the speed of Paulina Baez hustling down that first baseline, would have been a close play either way. But now you got runners in scoring position.
For Jasso, the left fielder, the first pitch is downstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Nielsen came in after an inning and a third for Riley White. And the pitch to Jasso over the plate. And there goes the runner to second base without a throw.
So now 2 runners in scoring position again. Where have we seen this before? Islanders had hot corners, and then they were able to steal second, and then what happened after that? Something real scary for the Wildcats.
The pitch from Nielsen to Jasso is upstairs. Yeah, it really takes away, like you said, it takes away the double play.
Yep.
It takes away the force out.
So you're taking the athleticism of the Wildcats out of play, which is one of their biggest assets.
Right. And any wild pitch, it's going to advance the runners, score 1.
And that's definitely not out of the cards. We've seen one here already.
The 2-1 hit to the second baseman. Over to Sheelander. That'll hold the runners. A nice play there.
That's what looks like almost a perfect double play ball. Would have been set up, but again, runner on second. Still able to get the out.
Nice play by Alani there.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. That could have been a double play. Nice play. Way to hold the runners.
Yep, Alani, really good job scooping it right there. Again, we mentioned the infield prowess of these Wildcats on full display right now.
Here's Quinn De Avila, the shortstop for the Islanders, a senior.
She's seen a lot of action so far on defense, looking to get a part of something here on offense.
The 1-0. Catches the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Just under 50 degrees here today. Nice day. 20-mile-an-hour winds. It's definitely affected the flight of the ball. The 1-1 swung on and lifted into the air to right center field. Under it is Eichelberger. She's coming on, and can she make the grab? She cannot. 1-1 will score for the Islanders. A second one will come in from second base. It's now 8-0 Islanders. And Cohen, take a look at the replay here with the wind as we get hopefully maybe another angle of the wind.
It's got to be. I mean, Shaylee Alani looked like initially as that thing was coming off the bat, she was going to defer to her center fielder Eichelberger right there. But as the ball kept flying, the wind killed it, and that thing just died right over Shaylee Alani. And I think initially, if she knew where it was going to land, she probably would have been the one to go after it. But again, I mean, the wind's it's deceiving. It killed the ball midair, and nobody was able to make a play on it. Again, the Wildcats just had a rough go of it with these fly balls, seemingly on both sides of the ball. But either way, I don't think that's going to go down as an error. I don't think that can go down as an error if nobody touches it. So Nielsen now is giving up a few. She's given up
really not a lot of hard hit balls.
It really hasn't been a lot of mistakes, but it's just been a lot of bad circumstances for these Wildcats.
So 2 outs. Back to the top of the lineup for the Islanders. Juliana Garcia stands in. 8-0 Corpus Christi.
Back to the top of the lineup now. It's going to give the Islanders a chance to see Nielsen now for the second time.
The junior stands in from the left side. Nielsen looks for the sign. The wind and the pitch. Takes a ball.
Going to see a little bit of change in the play here. Looks like Farler's giving out the signs and looking to change things here, pitching staff wise. Catcher deferring to the head manager, Farler. Again, not the start that the Wildcats were looking forward to their season. This is a team that they've had a very good record against in the past, a winning record against the Islanders. But as we mentioned before, coming into the broadcast, one of their biggest woes of the Wildcats season last year was offensive struggles. They had very good performances from their pitching staff and kind of got worst of both worlds so far in this matchup.
Well, and the Islanders have just taken advantage of everything the Wildcats have given them today.
This is a very talented Islanders team. Obviously, very talented pitching staff. We've seen what they're capable of.
The 1-2 to Garcia. Swung on and hit down the third baseline. Foul. Maddie Reiling got a glove on it, but it was foul.
Reiling getting her jersey dirty over there. She's made a few dives, all of those close plays. Both of them, luckily for the Wildcats, been foul balls, but any closer, Reiling would have demonstrated a bit of her athleticism.
The 1-2 from Nielsen is upstairs, 2-2.
I always like watching the charging bats, as you know, just usually watching baseball. It reminds me of the CFL, how they are able to go in motion vertically.
The 2-2 outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody warming for the Wildcats.
And I think that's a good sign for Nielsen. I think it's a good sign for Nielsen. If you're Farler, obviously you're in a bit of a hole here, but see that nobody's warming.
3-2 is fouled behind the Wildcats dugout.
See that no one's in the bullpen, no one's warming up. You basically signal to Nielsen without actually saying it. This is your game. We're going to have confidence in you, despite what the score says. You're going to go out there and you're going to pitch. I think that can only add to a pitcher's confidence.
Runner at second, 8-0 Islanders. A 3-2 from Nielsen, swung on and hit to the shortstop. She bobbles it, throws it back to the pitcher. No play at first. The Wildcats, that'll probably go down as an error.
That I think is going to be the first error of the game for the Wildcats. That was tough. It was right in between Reiling. Reiling didn't get to it. Either she didn't get to it, she couldn't get to it, or she deferred to her shortstop. Either way,
you can see Lista had a chance here, but it looked like either her eyes were taken off the ball or just didn't quite have enough to get it back over to first base.
Yeah, and that would have been a very tough play anyways.
It would have been.
We mentioned the speed of these Islanders. They're real good on the base paths. There's not a lot of easy outs on the base paths. If you go down and look at this Islander roster, they're all pretty quick. But now you got 2 runners on base again, all coming with 2 outs. Nielsen just looking for something, anything to get out of this inning.
The pitch. It's fouled off. 0-2.
One of the rare moments that an ACU pitcher has gotten ahead in the count here. And honestly, you know, when you're up 0-2, you usually think as a pitcher you can start exploring the ball area and start getting a little more creative. I think if you're here, you just got to attack the strike zone.
The 1-2 to Campion. She fouls it off. Just a reminder, one more game after this tonight on ESPN+. These ACU Wildcats will take on the UTEP Miners. First pitch is at 7 o'clock on ESPN+. The 0-2 pitch. She missed outside. Cohen Carpenter will have the call with Matthew De La Cruz.
And we mentioned earlier that there's no one warming up in the bullpen. I wonder how much that second game is playing into it. Maybe thinking that Nielsen maybe is going to take the rest of this game. You never want to chalk it up as a loss, but
right. It's the first game of the season. You just got to take what you got.
Yep.
This ball is lifted into left field. This will score another run. If it's dropped, and it is, it falls. 1 run will score. The throw to third, not in time. A really nice effort there by Taylor. You can see on the replay if she got a glove on it or not. It looked to me like she got a glove on it. Just couldn't quite get the ball.
If she didn't get a glove on it in the air, she definitely stopped it. Either way, obviously you want the out there, but good job. That's a really dangerous ball in a lot of other scenarios. If that thing gets behind you, obviously that could be 1 or 2 more runs rounding the base paths.
So it's 9-0 here.
3 apiece in each inning for these Islanders.
Denise Tyson stands in from the right side. The pitch is swung on and smokes down the left field line.
Yeah, they're gonna. I think what these Islanders, they're going to try to, and if you're in the mindset of Nielsen right here, they're going to start auto swinging a bunch. They've seen the weaknesses of this pitching staff, and obviously ACU pitchers not having their best outing right now. So a lot of these Islanders are going to get auto swing mode. So contrary to kind of what I said earlier, maybe now you go out of the strike zone a little bit, show them a bit more your off speed.
The 0-1 is in the dirt.
But again, that's tricky when you're playing a lineup with such good eyes as the Islanders. They've seen the ball well tonight. We've mentioned getting behind in the count as being the fault of some of these ACU pitchers, but also credit to the Islanders for seeing these balls that are close to the strike zone and laying off.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 on. Swung on and lifted high into center field. Eichelberger coming underneath it, and she'll make the grab. But the Islanders add 3 more for the 3rd straight inning. In the middle of 3, it's the Islanders 9 and ACU 0 from Polywells Field, Abilene, Texas. Back at Polywells Field, 10-0. The Islanders on top of the Wildcats. Sadie Eichelberger, the senior, stands in from the left side. And the first pitch outside.
Sun's starting to set here in Abilene. Hopefully that means tide's changing for the Wildcats.
Swung on and lifted the infield. Over is the shortstop, and she'll have no play. Watch out over there, David Mitchell, our third base camera operator.
Took a hard hit into the fence right there, tracking that Eichelberger hit. But again, if anyone's going to start a comeback, it's going to be Eichelberger. We mentioned how good she was last season. She's looking to maintain those numbers this season. One of the best hitters on this squad, top of the lineup. 3rd time through that they're seeing Galvin.
The 1-1, swung on and hit right at the third baseman. She will not make the play, and Eichelberger will set the table for the Wildcats down to 10-0. They're going to need that.
Hey, you ever watch Moneyball? In Moneyball, they say they don't care about hits. They don't care about all that. It's if you get on base. You know, that was an error right there, but you got a girl on base, and that's what matters. You got runners on, maybe sewing some chinks in the armor right now for Galvin. And again, we mentioned if anyone's going to start a comeback, it's going to be Eichelberger. And there she is right there. And how much that power probably contributed to that error right there. That thing's coming at you fast.
Absolutely. Miranda List, the sophomore, stands in, the shortstop, batting from the right side. Eichelberger at first for the Wildcats. As the sun continues to set here.
It's looking right at us, right in our eyes.
The 1-0. Catches the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And you've got to wonder, I guess, here, too, how aggressive is Farler going to be in letting her girls steal? How aggressive are they going to be on the base paths? Eichelberger, obviously, his speed, very similar to the Islanders, were a lot of the roster is very quick, very speedy, very smart on the base paths. So down here, you get a runner on. Obviously, you don't want to risk getting them thrown out after you get on, but runners in scoring position is the best possible thing for you right now.
Without a doubt, you just want runners.
Yep.
The 1-2 swung on and lifted down the right field line. That'll be foul. And again, Abigail Farler's got to be thinking, we've got a couple of games today. Again, our starting pitcher's out. Let's just see what we can do with our bats.
Yeah.
Score a couple runs, get some momentum throughout the next couple of innings, maybe produce a comeback. But at the very least, you get another game. The pitch is swung on and hit the right field. Lista will have a base hit, maybe a double here. She'll slide into second base as Eichelberger will go into third, and here come the Wildcats.
And how about that? We were just talking about Olivia Taylor over there in left field for the Wildcats and how she wasn't able to catch the ball, but she was able to stop it from going behind her, how dangerous that could have been. It's on full display right there. That's what happens when the ball gets behind you. That's a single that turns into a double, and now that's a double play ball. Maybe that is coming up here is going to turn into 2 runs scored.
Shaylee Alani steps in from the left side. Cohen, 11 hits total for both sides today. It feels like 9 of them have been to right field.
I would not believe you.
Feels like 9 of them have been to right field.
Yeah.
The pitch to Alani is upstairs.
But ACU's done a good job. Obviously, the scoreboard doesn't reflect as much, but they've done a good job of poking the ball around. They've really been able to put it where they've wanted to so far, barring a few wind incidents, but the wind does seem to be dying down. Maybe that'll change the tide.
The 1-0 to Alani is upstairs. So now you're seeing a little bit of trouble for Galvin and the Islanders. Again, up 10-0 in the third inning here. Not too alarming, but you don't want to set the table for the heart of the Wildcat order.
For sure. And I guess third time through is when you can really brutalize a pitcher, and that's what they're looking to do here, trying to get to Galvin. The
2-0 to Alani is swung on and drilled to right center field. The ball is shifting to center field. A nice play by the center fielder. 1 run will score. Eichelberger comes in, listed a third. The Wildcats are on the board.
And we mentioned Alani's power, how crucial she was in that 2021 season before her injury, and it looks like she's maintained a lot of that power. Shot that thing into center field, was a few feet from going out, didn't, but it is able to advance the runner from second to third and get the Wildcats on the board finally. And again, we were talking about it. If a comeback was going to fulminate from anywhere, it was going to be from the top of the order. We had Sadie Eichelberger go down, and it was production from that point onward. Lista, Alani, and looking Sheelander now. The big first baseman, obviously, I mentioned, tallest player on the field right now, 6'1", freshman out of high school. You got to think that she may have some power to maybe poke a ball out of here.
Sheelander takes outside.
I think Sheelander, longer than anyone, just seeming to notice, has a long routine stepping off the plate.
The 1-0 to the freshman. She shoots it down the right field line.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of this is Sheelander's routine. She steps off the bag, she takes a few swings, she takes a look around, enjoys the scenery for a bit, and then she steps back up. I wonder how much of that is her getting into the head of Galvin, because Lord knows Wildcats need that, or how much of that is just, that's what she's going to do every at-bat of the season.
The 1-1 to Sheelander. She takes 2-1. The Islanders jumped on the Wildcats in the first, second, and third with 3 runs and 4 respectively, highlighted by a Gabriela Torres 3-run homer in the first. The pitch swung on and chopped to third base. Coming on as the third baseman, she'll hold the runner, throw it over to first, and Sheelander is retired. No runs will score there for the Wildcats. A nice play by the third baseman of the Islanders.
Yeah, and how about that from Ragran right there? Able to hold the runner, which is so big. That's crucial right there. And get the out still at first base, get the force. Good display of athleticism, good arm, able to chuck that across the infield.
Sophomore Olivia Taylor, the left fielder, stands in from the right side, trying to drive in the second Wildcat run today. And she lifts the ball to the right side of the outfield, out of play.
We've mentioned Olivia Taylor's name a bit. That defensive play where she didn't quite get to the ball, but she stopped it from getting too bad. Letting too many runs in. Looking to contribute here on offense.
The 0-1 upstairs. Abigail Farler's Wildcats winning 25 games last year and finishing the regular season 500 for the first time since 2017.
I think if you're looking at their last season record and what they were able to accomplish, obviously it was the best season for ACU since 2017. It was the best record-wise in the Farler era. One big area of improvement that I think Farler is going to harp on this season is going to be their home record. They went only 9-7 here at Polywells. Obviously, that's a winning record, but these Wildcat squad, basketball, football, every single one of them prides themselves on locking down Abilene, and I think that's going to be a big point of contention for these Wildcats.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Miranda Lista at third base. The Wildcats scratch across the run here in the 3rd inning, down 10-1. The Wildcat Invitational against Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Galvin, the 2-2, is upstairs.
And again, third time through the lineup, this looks like a whole different offense that's taking the plate right here. Again, Galvin, third time through the lineup is when you really get to know a pitcher. They've kind of seen all Galvin has to offer. And even though they're swinging at stuff and they're getting foul balls and they're not exactly poking in the field right here in the case of Olivia Taylor, they're still staying alive. They're staying at bat. And like we mentioned before, the longer you're in an at bat, the more mistakes you're likely to see.
Absolutely. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And the pitch. Swung on and hit down the right field line. That may be trouble. It's
and it is.
In the right field corner. 1 run will score. Going to third is Olivia. She is out at third base. Taylor tries to take third. The run does score. The Wildcats get 2. Down 10-2 going to the 4th from Abilene. Back in Abilene.
Going to take a look at take a look at the replay here. Taylor able to poke it in right field, get the ribby, but wasn't able to stay alive. Again, I mean, you mentioned it in the break. Everything's been going right field. I mean, I think one of the field crew must have put a magnet out there when we weren't looking, but everything's been going right field after that leadoff home run, and she gets a bit greedy going for third right there, and she's going to get thrown out, and it looks like a good call by the blue.
10-2.
But she gets the ribby, gets another run on the board.
A nice piece of hitting.
Yeah,
there.
no, it was.
Nice piece of hitting. But again, as Abigail Farler said to her, or at least we think she did.
She looked like she was getting chewed out a little bit.
Yeah, that's a learning moment.
Yeah,
obviously for the sophomore, you don't need to stretch, double into a triple there.
The pros and cons of having a young squad.
Right. Because I mean, again, it works both ways. If you're down 10-2, I know what she's wanting to do, but there's really no difference in second and third there. Whereas if this was a close game and she did that, that would be even more.
And with 2 outs, too.
Just a learning moment.
Yep.
Nielsen.
It's foul again, man. She is getting her money's worth down there at third base.
Hoyt has smoked a couple of balls down the third base line here tonight. That one, the most recent, past Maddie Reiling at third, but it was foul.
Turf infield here, and I think they did that specifically for Maddie Reiling. If not, because they'd be giving the equipment guy a lot of trouble having to wash that jersey.
The pitch to Hoyt swung on and hit right back to the pitcher, Nielsen. This one should be an easy play. 1 out. That's one thing the Wildcats have not done.
Yeah.
Is get the leadoff hitter.
As you were saying that too, I think one thing that is new to them in this game is an easy play. That was the first play where it really seemed routine for the defense. Everything clicked, everything went right. Nielsen got the outcome that she wanted. Everyone was in the right place. Nothing was affected by the wind. I think that's a good step, good sign right there for the Wildcat defense.
And here's the catcher, Gabriela Torres.
Torres open this place up with a huge shot in the left field, huge fly ball. Hit the scoreboard. She puts that one in the air. Sheelander's giving it a try. On the dugout.
Let's go back to the home run in the first inning.
Yeah,
this is off of Riley White. This really opened up the scoring. Again, this is the first inning. One of the few that's actually gone to left field, Cohen.
Really?
What a shot.
Yeah.
And back to live action here. Nice job there by our producing team.
Was able to cut through the wind right there. A lot of power the catcher demonstrated. Again, hit the scoreboard. That's crazy. And you could tell almost off the bat that thing was gone, and that really opened the place up. And you got to wonder how much the mental aspect that was too for White, the starting pitcher for the Wildcats. How much just to see something that you throw get punched so hard in such a long direction.
Going over is the left fielder, Taylor. A really nice play down the left field line. As we just said, obviously the catcher for the Islanders, Torres, wants to go down the left field line. A nice play there for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, and really, really good job by Olivia Taylor, left fielder. She had that one defensive play that we've talked about a few times now, and she was able to come back and get the out this time in foul territory. Good range right there. Had to run a ways for it, but she got there.
This ball is lifted by Ragran over our head here.
And Wildcats here looking to have their first fast inning. Got the first out pretty easy. Again, we mentioned how routine that looked and how that was lost on the Wildcats for a large part of this game, but that looked routine. The second play was a good defensive play.
And the pitch. Inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody warming. Sorry, Cohen. Nobody warming in the Wildcat bullpen there. So, again, you got to think that this is Nielsen's game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and maybe Nielsen, this is a sign of her hitting her stride finally. Locating the pitches where she wants.
The 1-1 dribbles in.
And same thing can be said for the Wildcat defense. Again, there's been a few snafus, specifically with the play on first a few innings ago where maybe the pitcher should have covered or maybe not.
The 2-1 swung on and hit right back up the middle, past a diving second baseman. Another hit for the Islanders.
That would have been an incredibly impressive play for Shaylee Alani. She would have had to go vertical for an extended period of time there in order to get to that ball, but really just another great piece of hitting by the Islanders. The third baseman able to hustle down, get another runner on, and the Wildcats' dreams of a quick inning dashed by the Islanders' third baseman.
Fouled off here. Start by Baez. The freshman stands in from the left side. Ten to 2 here. Wildcat Invitational. ACU versus Texas A&M Corpus Christi. The pitch from Nielsen to Baez is lifted over the practice facility here, the indoor batting cages. 0-2. Just a reminder, ACU will take on the UTEP Miners at 7 p.m. tonight on ESPN Plus, as home plate umpire Donnie Rundell goes over to the Wildcat dugout again to get some
Got to reload.
New game balls.
Been fouling so many of these off, thanks in large part to the Islanders. They've had a lot of good contact. We mentioned the great contact that the catcher had against White to open up the scoring, but ever since then it's just been poking it into right field and, if not, fouling it off.
The 0-2 pitch misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes. To Baez, the second baseman. Freshman standing in on the left side. The 1-2 from Nielsen swung on and hit right back to her. The way the inning started, the way the inning will end. No runs on a hit. Going to commercial here from Abilene. 10-2. Islanders on ESPN Plus. Back in Abilene, a beautiful shot of the southern half of the campus there. Just a reminder that Cohen and I will be on the call tomorrow with Zach Carlisle. I'll be producing. He'll be commentating tomorrow for Sam Houston State.
That'll be a good one.
Abilene Christian, 6 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Huge game for the Wildcats.
And we were talking about this before the game started. Every single time they play, it's these whack rivalries. They always come down to the very last second. So that'll be a good game for sure.
Can't wait for that one. 6 p.m. on ESPN Plus tomorrow night. Our ACU TV crew will be producing that. So proud of them every time we get to do a big game.
In the meantime, looks like we had a pitching change for the Islanders.
We did, and the Islanders actually lost a run in the break.
Yeah, so there was a bit of an issue with the scoreboard.
So it's 9-2. We thought it was 9-2, and we went to a break, and all of a sudden it was 10, and we're like, wait a minute.
We played it off pretty well.
Yes,
though.
we did. So in the circle now for
it's gonna be Sydney Hoyt.
For the Islanders is Sydney Hoyt. She's batted a couple of times for the Islanders. And the first pitch from Hoyt is outside.
So Sydney Hoyt, for the keen-eyed viewers among us, was the first baseman. Now she's on the mound. Taking over her spot at first base is number 33, Mani Montanella.
The second pitch to Avery Mylock, the catcher, is fouled off down the left field line.
So I can only wonder as to why the change. Obviously, Galvin was going pretty good, but you know, maybe with this much of a lead, wanted to test out a few other talents.
Mylock swings and shoots this one through the left side. A first hit for her today, and she'll stretch it into a double. Nice way to set the table for the Wildcats here in the bottom of the fourth.
And if you're an Islanders fan, you really hope that this pitching change doesn't come back to bite you. Galvin was going strong. She was giving you a lot of good innings. Sure, her stuff was on point. Comes in, first batter, she gives up an extra base hit. And then you've also got the factor of a new player in at first base. So there's a lot of new variables been added to the game. And obviously you could say it's a bit out of reach for ACU, but it's still within striking distance. Still got a few innings left to play.
So looks like we have a
stoppage.
A pinch runner here for the Wildcats.
Gotcha.
Isabel Martinez, the sophomore lefty, will pinch run for the catcher, Avery Mylock. And here's the first pitch. Miranda Davila takes a ball outside. She was hurt earlier in the game. Little looping ball down the right field line, but has made a couple of nice plays for the Wildcats. The 1-0, she shows bunt, and she'll take a strike.
So the pinch runner in now, obviously, the Wildcats still looking to play for offense. And I think that's what's so important about those last few innings by Nielsen, the Wildcats pitcher, especially the last inning, is she was able to hold the Islanders scoreless and maybe keep this game still within reach.
The 2-0 is inside. 3 balls, no strikes.
But it'll be interesting to see how much of the composition of the Wildcats lineup changes as the Islanders did. And with these substitutions, maybe a little more speed on the base paths, a little more offense at the plate, sacrificing a little bit of that defensive talent.
The 3-0, she lost her. So Sydney Hoyt comes in for the Islanders, and I'm sorry, 3 balls and 1 strike. Guess that was a strike. In danger here of losing the first 2 batters.
First 2.
3 balls and 1 strike to Davila. Strike on the outside corner.
That's the danger of the auto take right there, is you let a pitcher back into a count. Sydney Hoyt looking to establish herself early.
The full count pitch is swung on and fouled right over our camera there.
Again, you got to wonder if there was some sort of maybe injury to Galvin or if it was just strictly a managerial change.
The 3-2. And she lost her.
But, yep, new pitcher comes in, and first 2 batters get on base. You got give up an extra base hit, and you give up a walk. After Galvin was going strong, if this is going to come back and bite the Islanders, it's going to be pretty nasty in that locker room afterwards. But Abilene here is provided a very rare opportunity, striking distance. Again, we mentioned they've got a good chunk of game left, and it's not. I mean, there's been bigger blowouts, bigger comebacks, more importantly. Up to bat now is Bubba Rote.
Let's go back and look at how close this came to our camera a second ago. Oh no, that was the walk. Sorry about that. Okay.
Well, that didn't come close at all. You're lying to me.
Here's the 1-0.
Bubba Rote, the DH for the Wildcats. She was a red shirt. She took her red shirt freshman year at Southeast Missouri State. First year of collegiate baseball there. Now she visits the Wildcat, looking to make an impact here.
Rote got the scoring started for the Wildcats with a double down the right field line just an inning ago. The pitch, she takes a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike.
And there's not a lot of fans here. It's pretty cold, and they're all pretty bundled up, as I'm sure you can see on the cameras. But they're lively. They've got a couple of handful of chance for these players.
3 balls and 1 strike. She'll take. She's walked the bases loaded.
All right, this is gonna be one of the big decisions of the game. Why remove Galvin? So far, Hoyt's come in and it hasn't been great for the Islanders. Loading the bases here. And, I mean, hypothetically, a swing gets you within 2, or 3, rather. Yeah, that's a high pitch right there. Hoyt's losing a few of them. Not doing what Galvin did, which was getting in ahead of batters early and then toying with them with off speed a little bit. Again, first pitch is low. That's ball 1.
Maddie Reiling stands in, third baseman, wearing number 6, the junior, from the right side with a golden opportunity for the Wildcats. Down now 9-2.
Yep. And all you're really looking for here for Reiling is at the very least, a productive out. Get a sac fly, poke something somewhere, and turn this lineup over. Get it back to Eichelberger. Get it to the 1-2-3 hitters.
The 1-1 to the third baseman. She takes inside. You'd love to have a crooked number in this inning, but you're right. You just want some run support here for your defense.
Like we mentioned, a good chunk of game left. Crazier things have happened.
Though 2-1 to Reiling, swung on and lifted over our heads toward Anthony Field here at Wildcat Stadium.
It's very important to keep this off the infield right here. And even if you do hit into a double play, we mentioned the pinch runner. Their pinch runner right now is on third. If you hit into a double play right here, not the worst thing in the world. Obviously, it's going to be 2 outs, but you're probably going to score 1.
The 2-2. Swung on and fouled right into the dugout. Watch out.
But again, another huge spot here for Maddie Reiling. We were talking about the huge spot that she was in a couple innings back. There was runners on second and third. Was not able to capitalize with 2 outs. This time a lot more of a lenient position. Even count. Count's tied at 2. No outs.
The 2-2. Off speed, swung on and popped up in the infield. Overs the first baseman. She cannot collect the foul ball. We'll go back to 2-2. Again, this is a huge spot for the Wildcats. This is opening day. You don't want to get blown out. Obviously, they've done a good job of clawing back in.
Yep.
Let's see if the Wildcats can put something on the table here and really make this a game.
And do something that they didn't really have a chance to do all that often last season, which was establish a dominant offense.
The 2-2. Swung on and fouled off again down the left field line toward the batting cages here. Polly Wells Field. 45 degrees now. Dipping a little bit lower. I think it's supposed to get about 41 tonight.
Oof. Sun's going down now.
North wind has affected the ball mightily today. The 2-2, off speed, got her.
It's a close call.
See if we can see this
That's
on the replay here.
Crucial out for Hoyt. She needed that.
Here it comes.
That was about the worst case scenario, however, for Maddie Reiling. That looks like, oof.
It's close.
It looked a little outside, but yeah, you could say it.
Yep, looked like it painted the corner as well. Here's Sadie Eichelberger, back to the top of the lineup for the Wildcats.
Yep, that's what you're looking for right now. Top of the lineup. Eichelberger last time up, obviously hitting that error where she shot a rocket at the third baseman, but that led to runs. Looking for more of the same.
The pitch to Eichelberger is fouled off, out of play. You can understand why Reiling is maybe taking that. Again,
yes.
Bases loaded, new pitcher, Sydney Hoyt has walked 2 out of 3. You understand that. It's just an unfortunate situation there for Abigail Farler's team.
It really is, but all things considered, probably a smart move. Obviously, you've seen Hoyt. She came out really inconsistent, gave the extra base hit, gave up a walk, gave up 2 walks. So you've seen that she was really struggling to find the strike zone, and the blue home plate umpire really has had a really small strike zone that could have gone either way.
The 0-2 is chopped down the third base side. Onto home plate for one. She fumbles the ball, but an out is already called. And here comes the second runner, and she is out as well.
Wow.
And actually now Donnie Runnell is going to say that runner is safe due to interference. Let's watch a nice replay here.
Well, here's the thing is when the catcher got the ball initially, as I don't think this may not show it, but when the catcher gets the ball initially,
slow down. Yep.
The third base runner who was coming home, who was the initial force out, ran into the arm of the catcher, and as she was about to throw it to first, bumped into her arm and dropped the ball, and that's what gave 25 a chance to start rounding the bases. Davila, that's what gave her, who was originally on second, she took the initiative and ran home. But if anything, you should say that the interference looked to be on the Wildcats.
I think what they're saying is the runner did score, though, Avila. I think they're giving that run to the Wildcats. Not the first run, but the second runner scored from second base.
So maybe the issue then was the catcher, obviously, she was going out to stop Davila from touching home plate, and she kind of dived at her. It was a pretty violent collision there near home plate. And that may be what the Blues harping on is the heavy contact. Again, that's the second kind of crucial play we've seen at home plate.
9-3 now. So the Wildcats do produce a run here, and here's Miranda Lista.
But you're looking for more.
The pitch is swung on and golfed down the third baseline once again toward our cameras.
So if it's not a double into right field, it's a foul ball way left. It seems like every batted ball has fallen into those two categories.
So 2 on for the Wildcats. Again, Sadie Eichelberger there chopped the ball and got to second base, so that's positive for ACU. Miranda Lista at the plate here. Off speed. She'll take that outside, 1-2.
Yeah, but that's a big play right there because that turns an inning double play is what it looked like initially to 1 run and 2 runners in scoring position.
Correct. 2 on, 2 out, 9-3. Islanders. Sydney Hoyt winds and throws off speed and outside to Miranda Lista, the sophomore shortstop for the Wildcats, who's been busy today, both at the plate and in the infield, as time is called here by Torres.
Torres talking to Hoyt. Hoyt done a good job recently of attacking the strike zone more. Obviously, she's produced that soft contact that led to the Eichelberger play and the play at home plate. She's able to get the strikeout on Maddie Reiling. Looking to wrap up the inning here, and turned out pretty bad, but if she's able to get the out right here, good inning for Hoyt.
The 2-2 from Hoyt. Swung on and lifted down the left field line. Over is the left fielder. She won't be able to make the play. Nice effort there.
Seen a few of those plays so far in that left field foul territory. Just not able to cover the distance. Staying alive are the Wildcats. This has been their biggest inning so far. Feels like they've had the most opportunities.
A base hit would more than likely score 2 here from Lista. The pitch from Hoyt off speed, and that'll end the inning. Strike 3 on the outside corner, so Hoyt gets out of a jam. The Wildcats score 1. 9-3 going to the top of the 5th from Abilene on ESPN+. Back Polywell's Field, Hutton Harris along with Cohen Carpenter, the first game of a doubleheader for the Wildcats here on ESPN Plus, ACU TV coverage, student-run coverage here for the opening game for the Wildcats, 2023, 9-3. The Islanders are ahead in the top of the fifth inning.
Nielsen's still on the mound, but substitution on the Wildcat side. McKinley Clark, sophomore outfielder, is coming into right field, making her first appearance in this contest.
Well, and you have to think, you go back to that third inning with Miranda Davila. Maybe there was some sort of injury there that we didn't know about.
And also of note, Miranda Davila was the one involved at that home plate collision.
Correct.
So the two outfield play that she was involved in, where she got up, she was hobbling. So coming in now, McKinley Clark, another high school product from Midway High School, Waco, Texas. Nielsen looking another strong inning out of her. She shut the Islanders out for the first inning of the game, for the first time in the fourth inning of the game. Looking to repeat that here.
Alina Jaso, left fielder, number 12, stands in from the right side for the Islanders as the sun sets here at Polywell's Field in the first game of the season for the Wildcats. The pitch inside. Again, Riley White started the game for the Wildcats. Just an inning and a third for ACU, and Abigail Farler went to her bullpen. Nielsen works. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Nielsen, after coming in for White, started off shaky. Gave a few runs. There's 3 earned runs to her name, 7 hits, but mentioned last inning, definitely her best piece of work.
The 1-1 is upstairs.
Again, still kind of struggling here with this at-bat, getting behind the batter in the pitch count. That was White's downfall. It's what gave Nielsen some trouble.
The 2-1. Strike on the outside corner.
But looking for another quick inning here, looking for the defense to continue to stay being on page. They have athleticism for days, just make sure the schemes are worked out.
2-2 is fouled behind us once again. As the sun sets here at Polywell's Field, the temperature obviously is going to lower, and I've watched many games here over the years. I've been sunburned and also been really, really frostbitten as well. So 2-2, swung on and fouled off again.
It's the beauty of West Texas.
Very true. Over the years, some really nice upgrades to this stadium. This press box being one of them, and the turf, obviously, really nice place to play for the Wildcats.
Yeah, turf infield, I think, really changes a lot of the dynamics of the game in a lot of ways. You know, you got really staunch advocates on both sides.
Yeah, I think turf infield is probably the future, probably the way to go.
Yeah, I'm seeing more and more of it.
The 2-2 is swung on and hit right to the third baseman, Riling. A nice play, a nice way to start the top of the fifth for the Wildcats.
And Riling's probably just happy she didn't have to get on the ground this time. Finally, a ball hit up head level she can manage. First time where she's not having to dive all over the place, and that was a bullet hit right at her, and was able to handle it very professionally.
Quinn De Avila takes the ball. Yeah, we're talking about the upgrades. If you look in right field here, there's they've added some netting right on the back side, so the balls don't go on to Judge Ely out there.
Yeah, hit a car. That'd be pretty bad.
Yep, that's happened many times.
Upgrades to the scenery, too. I mean, this place going place. You got baseball, new scoreboard. Obviously, all the upgrades coming with football and You know, talent buys a lot of surprising additions and equipment.
ACU doing a really nice job of upgrading their Division I look over the last couple of years. The 1-1. Swung on and missed.
That was a big strike right there. That seemed to get all the Wildcats going on their feet. It's exactly what they were looking for.
Watch the reaction here by
celebrating.
Nielsen.
I thought it was 2 strikes. I thought it was a strikeout. They all celebrated. And I think this is a kind of big momentum pitch right there. And that's the other thing of note too is been watching them in between and during the breaks, in between innings, coming on and off the field, how all of the infielders and all of the defenders come around Nielsen. They're all cheery. They're all happy. Again, they're down by a pretty wide margin, but they're not out.
The 2-2 is swung on and lifted foul. Over is Riling. Taylor to no avail. 9-3 as we approach 6 o'clock Central Time here.
So far, been a different complexion to this Wildcat squad ever since the 3rd inning. Seem to turn things around, be more energetic, both offensively and defensively.
Swung on and hit up the middle, but the sure-handed center fielder Eichelberger is there.
And you just hate those as batters, obviously. Davila, pretty good contact onto that ball, was able to shoot it into center field, but right at ACU's one of their better defenders, Eichelberger, and that posed hardly a challenge at all to her. That got to her quick, but she was right there. Again, probably one of those hits where the expected batting average is high.
Juliana Garcia shoots it to the left side there.
That's what happens when you got a hit of the similar velocity, but in a different location.
Right back out to the replay here. What do you see here, Cohen?
Well, it wasn't hit to an outfielder that time, so dropped and she got on base and hit it so quick it was just held to first base. Got to the left fielder in a pretty fast manner.
And here's Sydney Campion. She'll take a strike on the outside corner.
Again, you gotta love how the defense is coming around Nielsen, and again, in a lot of these situations where your pitcher's getting lit up, you know, could be some animosity building between teammates, but that definitely does not seem to be the case here for the Wildcats. Really good camaraderie.
The throw down is in time. What a throw by the Wildcats. What a play to end the inning. Avery Mylock down to Shaylee Alani. We'll be back on ESPN+. Back in Abilene, let's look at this replay. The inning-ending put out from Avery Mylock.
Yeah, great throw by Mylock, but better adjustment there by Alani. Able to get it down just in time. And speaking of the devil, there she is at the plate. Again,
nice tag by Alani there.
Yeah, really good play. I mentioned the throw, but great tag. Able to get that down, and sometimes that's the trickiest part, especially with how elusive base runners are nowadays. But she's looking to turn some of those defensive fortunes into offensive fortunes. At the plate now, still down by 6, looking for a comeback.
The Wildcats have time. They've got 2 innings here to figure it out. Again, playing here in just a couple hours as well. The pitch to Alani is swung on and lifted to right field. This should be taken care of pretty easily by the right fielder of the Islanders, and it is. A nice play by Tyson out there.
As the sun sets, it obviously becomes less of an issue. Gets out of the eyes a bit less.
You can see she just took a lob wedge there instead of a 9-iron.
Yeah, I know. She got under it a little bit. Gave that ball a nice tour Abilene before it came down.
Here's the freshman standing in from the right side, Shelander. She swings and misses.
Shelanders have a rough go of it so far this game. She's swung and a miss, I believe, a couple of times. She's had a few strikeouts. She's looking for first good contact here.
The 0-1 on the outside corner.
Hoyt's kind of coming into her own as well. Islanders, it almost looked like it was going to come back to bite them in a pretty harmful way, pulling her in for Galvin, but she's starting to find her stride, find the strike zone more importantly.
Shelander looks at a ball outside. You mentioned in the break that you're from Sugar Land area, right?
Yeah, I went to high school there, so I've been around those parts.
That's where Sammy Shelander is from.
My kinfolk.
Kemper High School, or Kempner, sorry. The pitch is swung on and hit over to third base. Over to first, and that'll be the second out of the inning.
Finally got contact for Shelander. Not the kind of contact she wanted. Wasn't able to hustle that out. Good defensive play again by the Islanders.
Very nice. Stepping in for the Wildcats now is Olivia Taylor, sophomore. She's wearing the number 33 today. The pitch is again swung on and hit over the batting cages here. Again, that's another upgrade here for the Wildcats over the last 5 years. They've done a really nice job of adding to this place.
For sure. Should probably clear those batting cages. Probably looks like almost into that parking lot over there.
Probably out by my car.
Uh-oh. I don't hear a car alarm.
Yeah.
But she's had some pretty good contact like that so far in this game. Obviously a bit early on that swing, but she hit it. That's where it's exactly where she wanted to hit it. Just a bit early.
The 1-1. Outside. The wind seems to be dying just a little bit as the sun goes down. You see that West Texas sunset. The 2-1 swung on and hit once again down the left field line, but foul.
And she's getting early on a lot of these things. And Hoyt obviously is probably doing a good job of incorporating a lot of the off-speed, a few change-ups maybe, slowing down her fastball a little, getting that velo changing it a little bit. But good bat speed by Olivia Taylor. I mean, she's poking these things far.
The 2-2 to Taylor. She'll take 3 balls and 2 strikes. Again, we talked about it, Cohen, really setting the table here early in the inning. That's really what you need to do for the Wildcats.
Yep. Full count.
The 3-2, 2 out. Swung on and hit to the shortstop. That should end the inning. But Olivia Taylor runs it out.
And
nice job there.
We saw that speed on defense. She was out there in left field when she made that huge ranging play to get that foul ball, and she's able to run herself to a hit right there. That's a out by every stretch of the imagination if 95% of other players are running that out. But we had Olivia Taylor out there, and she gets herself a hit.
Nice job by Taylor to stretch it out and see if ACU can scratch together a couple more runs, get closer here. The first pitch to the catcher, Avery Mylock, is swung on and missed. Mylock's had a couple of collisions tonight at home plate.
Yeah, it's been a pretty violent game. A lot of rough and tumble in the outfield. We've had a few slip-ups, and at home plate we've had a few big plays.
The 0-1 catches the outside corner. Nothing in two outs, one on, 9-3. And the pitch is swung on and once again fouled off to the left side, out of play. Mylock, the junior, wearing number 13 for the Wildcats. Olivia Taylor, who just legged out an infield hit. The left fielder wearing number 33 over there at first base.
And there's a lot of the youth we were talking about. Olivia Taylor, it's her second year in college, first year here at ACU.
The 0-2, outside. Nothing doing over there at first.
She's got speed, though, and she's demonstrated that before. She got on the bag because she has speed, so something to look out for if you're the Islanders. And just another thing for Hoyt to think about.
The 1-2, swung on and fouled off. Once again, down the left side. But sorry to cut you off again. As we talked about earlier with Taylor, really no need to be stretching. It doubles into triples or going, try to steal a bag there. Down 6 runs, you got to have base runners. Doesn't matter where they are.
Yep, for sure. And I think she's going to be real cautious about base running after she probably got chewed out by Coach Farler on her last plate appearance. But she has speed, and that is something that Hoyt's going to think about.
The 1-2 swung on and lifted to right field. This should end the inning, and it does. No runs on a infield hit. We're going to the top of the 6th, 9-3. Islanders from Abilene, Texas on ESPN+. Back at Polly Wills Field, Texas A&M Commerce visiting Abilene Christian, part of the Wildcat Invitational. Cohen Carpenter along with Hutton Harris. First game of a doubleheader for ACU tonight. They'll take on the UTEP Miners here, probably a little bit later than 7 o'clock as we stretch into the 6 o'clock hour here in the top of the 6th inning. We'll see how it goes, but both those games on ESPN Plus as Nielsen comes back in the circle. The Islanders show bunt here.
Yeah, there's been a lot of offense in this one, but it's mostly been one-sided, much to the dismay of Wildcat fans. Although Nielsen has put together a few good back-to-back innings here. That 4th inning was pretty quick. 5th inning, you could say more of the same. Looking for a quick, clean 6th inning.
Campione stands in from the left side, shows bunt again, and can't get it down.
That's good. As a pitcher, you're going to take that. That's 2 strikes right there. It's on the onus of the batter to lay down that bunt. She's trying to sneak it down the third base side, looks like. Maybe test the arm of Maddie Riling.
0-2. The pitch. Got her.
It's a big strikeout right there for
Excited to
Nielsen.
see this replay here.
Ooh,
Right on the outside corner.
She's painting it. Look at that.
She's excited. I
She's
like
been
it. I like
there's
it.
been good energy.
It's opening day here. She's ready to rock.
She
man.
is ready to rock. She probably wasn't expecting to pitch this
No.
many innings. She came in. We mentioned it was rocky, but she is a good performance so far from Nielsen.
Denise Tyson stands in from the left side. And again, home plate umpire Donnie Rundell painted the corner there and said, yep, that's strike 3. 9-3, top of the 6th. The Islanders looking to add just a little bit of insurance here. There really hasn't been, obviously, any offense the last 2.5 innings.
And I think what's going to come back to bite the Wildcats is the lack of offense in the bottom of the 4th.
Correct.
Because that was their big opportunity. That was when Hoyt was really out there laboring.
She hadn't settled in yet.
She had, for sure. She hadn't settled in, and she looked very uncomfortable on the mound. That was their chance to strike, and I think after that, bottom of the 5th inning, she was lights out. She looked really good. She was finding the strike zone. She had 2 strikeouts in that inning. Her placement was great, but it was really the bottom of that 4th inning that the Wildcats had their chance. Got a run, but most part, they didn't capitalize as much as they needed to. However, Nielsen, keeping him in it.
The 1-2 from Nielsen is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Denise Tyson also has been pretty busy down the right field line. We mentioned several hits have been, more than several, have been to the right side of the infield or outfield tonight. So wind dying down a little bit. 2-2 pitch is once again swung on and fouled off over the batting cages here.
You got to wonder how much of that is on thanks to the pitcher. Off-speed, change up, making their fastballs, slowing it down a little bit, making the swings real early because we've seen a lot of those early swings over the batting cages.
The 2-2 is swung on to hit over to Riling at third. The throw over. Got her! A nice play by Maddie Riling and an even nicer stretch by the first baseman, Sammy Sheelander. Let's take a look here, Cohen.
What's the benefit of 6-1 at first base? It's that right there. Riling fumbles the ball just a little bit. Throw comes out. It's nice, but how about that?
A really nice job there by Sheelander to make that effort over at first base. And nice play by our crew there, too.
Good job, Cameron. But she's done a good job so far on defense. She's obviously struggled more than she probably wanted to on offense. She's 0 for 3, a couple of strikeouts. But defense, she's had a few nice scoops and obviously a great play right there. Probably saving the hit.
One ball, one strike.
And it's kind of, we mentioned how the play has changed. There's been kind of a attitude change, you could say, for the Wildcats. A lot more energy.
Whoa, that ball goes up and outside there. She lost it upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 balls and 1 strike. I'm going to get it right here.
There you go. You got it. Yeah, that rising fastball rose a bit too much.
Riling, Lista, Alani, and Sheelander in the infield as we see a 2-1 pitch. Taylor Eichelberger and Davila started the game for the Wildcats. Now it's McKinley Clark out there for ACU. The 3-1 is upstairs. She lost her.
Pitcher to pitcher right there, and the Islanders ace won that contest. Able to draw the walk off of Nielsen. Hoyt's had a pretty busy day. Started the game at first base. Shifted her over to pitcher. She started to struggle a little bit, but she was able to find her stride. Had a lockdown bottom of the 5th and was able to draw the walk in the top of the 6th. Nielsen just 1 out away from another quick inning, as we're going to see a pinch runner come in for Hoyt. As we were just singing her praises, she is out of the game. So that means that someone's going to have to fill in for her pitching too. Into the game is number 6, Mimi Thornton, freshman second baseman.
And here's Gabriela Torres, home run in the first inning. Again, as it cools down here at Polly Wells Field, it feels like the wind has started to die just a little bit. Interesting to see what happens in the next game if the ball is affected as much. Again, throw down to first base. Sheelander can't swipe the tag in time.
That's why you got a pinch runner in right there. Mimi Thornton maybe looking to steal, and that just is a pain in the back of the mind of the pitcher and the catcher. Testing the catcher's arm, giving her multiple things to think about.
2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs. The pitch from Nielsen. She's starting to miss. Abigail Farler is going to come out and chat with her in just a minute. Again, it's only this sounds weird, but it's only a 6-run game here, right?
No, yeah.
So it feels like the Islanders could have really taken a lead, maybe even ruled the Wildcats early in the game, but ACU kind of staved that off and got a couple of runs here and there, and now it's 9-3. You have 2 more at bats. Cohen, what are you thinking here? Like, what is Abigail Farler saying?
Well, I mean, they've done a really good job, barring the first 3 innings, of coming together, and this is really a situation where, I mean, especially here in the announcer booth, we were definitely thinking that this was going to be a blowout, but it doesn't feel like a blowout, and a lot of that's thanks to Nielsen. Obviously, you can see her out there on the field, on the mound, and she's kept her composure very well, and I think that's what Farler has just got done telling her, is to continue being that influence.
She's done a heck of a job the last hour, honestly.
Yeah, she's done great.
She's stopped any momentum that the Islanders have had. This has really been maybe their first base runner in a couple of innings. The first pitch after the Abigail Farler meeting is strike right down the middle. 3 balls and 1 strike to Gabriela Torres. The 3-1. She lost her. You got to be careful there again. I mean, you don't want to give up another homer to.
Yeah, she's demonstrated that she has the power. So if you're going to walk anyone, might as well be Torres.
Kamaine Rogan steps in.
She's had a nice night. Third base, she's made a few plays.
The first pitch to Rogron is fouled off.
Nielsen looking to put her away here, get out of this inning. This has probably been her most rocky inning since the 3rd. She's allowed 2 base runners. But again, doesn't feel out of control. Her composure, she's kept it very well. She's all smiles out there if you get the chance looking at her, and she's got a good defense behind her.
1 ball, 1 strike. Nielsen has really done a great job the last few innings for Abigail Farler. That's exactly what she wanted. It was just someone to stop the bleeding.
Especially when you keep in mind that she had no notion in her mind that she may pitch today, because obviously softball, they go the whole game. They've got a more natural arm movement than baseball. They go complete games. So not really probably in the front of her mind that she was going to get a lot of innings pitched today, but here she is.
Swung on and hit right down the third baseline. That ball is fair. No, now they're saying it's foul. I was looking at the third base umpire.
Yeah, the third base coach.
The third base umpire and coach led us to believe that it was fair there.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can look at a replay there. That ball was absolutely smoked.
Oh, it was.
Right past the third baseman, Maddie Reiling. Let's see if we can see it here. Cameras have done a good job today. Can't really see it there, but it was razor thin.
It was a very close play, as all of Riley's plays have been so far this game.
The 2-2 is upstairs. 2 Islanders on here. Wildcat Invitational, 9-3. 9 runs, 1 error, 9 hits for the Islanders. looking to capitalize. A 3-2 pitch is swung on and hit right over the shortstop Lista's head. 1 run will score. Rounding third is another Islander. She will score 11-3.
And that feels like the dagger. That really feels like the dagger in the Wildcats. That's 2 more runs. Makes this lead even more insurmountable. Take a look at the replay. Good piece hitting into left field. Gets it to the wall.
Really nice piece of hitting there by Ragran. She drives it to the left center field. Again, drives in 2 runs.
Yep. And Lista, the shortstop, was really looking like she had that lined up. Not too high of a vertical. And Wildcats, substitution. Juliana Garcia in on the mound. Check that. Lauren Sheik.
Lauren Sheik.
I was looking at the number 23 for the Corpus Christi roster.
It's our first game, too. So.
Lauren Sheik, I believe, is the only left-handed pitcher in the Wildcats bullpen. Interesting change here. She takes a few warm-up pitches.
Yeah, and again, I think when you're talking about momentum, again, Nielsen did a great job.
Yep.
She kind of let that one go there at the end there, but more than likely you're going to use her over the next couple of days.
Yes.
Maybe even later tonight, it just depends on how the game goes. As she actually is going back down to the bullpen and
yeah,
she's warming up.
I just noticed that.
But Lauren Sheik, graduate student from Wisconsin. She'll take the mound, number 23, a lefty. Also, again, you may be looking at the matchup here, maybe not in an 11-3 game, but
yeah.
As Paulina Baez steps in on the left side, it's a natural fit to go lefty-lefty here.
Mm-hmm. And it's a good chance. Obviously, we mentioned that sort of felt like the dagger in the Wildcat comeback. So might as well see the talent you have on your bench.
Yep.
Get as much of these players' experience as possible.
The first pitch from Lauren Sheik is a strike on the outside corner.
Sheik going no face mask, but a lot of eye black.
Yep. And the pitch.
Intimidation over protection. See how that?
That's right.
See how that works.
I think if you're Abigail Tharler here, you want, again, confidence going into the second game. This is the first game of their young season.
Yep.
Ball is popped up in the infield, and that should do it. Maddie Reiling takes care of it for the Wildcats. 2 runs on 2 hits for the Islanders as we go to the bottom of the 6th here from the Wildcat Invitational. It's 11-3 Islanders on ESPN+.
And we are back in Abilene, Polly Wells Field, and what has quickly turned to be a blowout. 11-3 in favor of the Islanders. It's just me in the booth, Cohen Carpenter. Hutton Harris had to dip, so you're stuck with me. But it's going to be Hoyt back on the mound for the Islanders. Number 9. Again, we were talking about her and how much that she meant. Started this game as, I mean, what a wild ride for her. She started this game out at first base. Eventually, in a kind of a questionable decision, Galvin was the starter for the Islanders, but coach decides to put Hoyt in at pitcher. Struggled a bit in her first appearances, but now in these latter innings, in the final few innings of the game, she's really coming to her own on the mound. First pitch is a ball. At bat for the Wildcats, it's number 18, Clark. This is her first at bat of the game. She came in for Davila, left field early on. Davila was involved in a home plate collision. Got up, was hobbling a little bit, so hopefully everything's okay. We're going to have to see in this 7 o'clock game if she makes an appearance, if she continues to be on the field. Clark, again, her first at bat. Here's the 1-1. Looks like she tried to hold up on the swing. Doesn't matter, called a strike. Yeah, Hoyt's been on top of things. We mentioned how the rocky start, but she's coming together. Clark's able to get a bat on that one, but it bounces harmlessly foul. So at the end of the last inning, we made the observation that Nielsen, as soon as she got taken out of the game, went into the bullpen to start warming up. May be an indication that she may be the starter for the next game. Again, White may be coming back for the next game. We're going to have to see. Clark held up there again. The count's going to go tied up at 2. So White may be the starter for this next game. She started off the first 2 innings, very rocky performance from her. She gave up 4 earned runs, was really struggling to find the strike zone. As the 2-2 pitch is low and away, that's going to be ball 3. White was struggling to find the strike zone and gave up the lead early, and the Islanders really haven't looked back. Again, we've been talking about how the pitching has affected things so far this entire game, but credit to these Islanders batters. They have done a very good job of seeing the ball. Here's the full count pitch, and that's going to be kind of blooped to center field and right at the center fielder. It's just one of those hits